Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Giant Center in Hershey, Pennsylvania, the longtime home of the PIAA Basketball Boys and Girls Championship. Tonight, and this afternoon in particular, it's a big-time matchup between Lansdale Catholic and Neumann-Goretti. We say tonight in part, Bruce, because this is a bit of a coronation of sorts of the Philadelphia Catholic League. 6 teams will play from the Philadelphia Catholic League between now and tonight's finale, and this, the first of 2 matchups that will be Catholic League on Catholic League, and it's the girls from Neumann-Goretti who won the Philadelphia Catholic League title just about a month ago at the Palestra against Lansdale Catholic. They have a first-year head coach, but they have a program of excellence that has won a state title just 2 years ago. They returned some terrific players from the last few years, and they are coached by a guy who has been incredible in multiple stints, over 800 wins for the head coach, Tom Lonergan of Lansdale Catholic. And I think that kind of puts this game into perspective. It's the team that's been on top versus the team that's been playing really, really well, arguably the best in the state of Pennsylvania, and Lansdale Catholic.
Yeah, clearly, and I just happened to come in with Lansdale Catholic into the arena, which was great to see the team, up front. Had an opportunity to talk to Tom, and they went through their routine of, coming in last night, going out to dinner, doing the whole thing with Chocolate World. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And from that, though, obviously Tom being around the block, and, I asked him a couple of good questions, I think, for really any championship game. The first thing is you come in with a game plan, okay? And this is obviously win or go home. I mean, it's your whole season down to this one game. And I talked to him about the fact of you come in with a plan, but how long are you going to take a look at that plan and say, well, we need to stick with it or we need to move on? And he basically said he just kind of does that by, by feel. I mean, sometimes he comes in to a game with a game plan and it goes awry very quickly. Other times something clicks and they'll basically run with it for the rest of the game. So he's pretty flexible in that regard, and that obviously comes from all this coaching experience that he brings to this game.
Well, you said run with it, Bruce, and when I think of run with it, I actually think of Neumann-Goretti on the other side of the ball. Amaya Scott and Corinne Easley. Easley was the MVP of the Philadelphia Catholic League and the catalyst in the Catholic League championship game against Archbishop Carroll at the Palestra that pushed Neumann-Goretti onto that victory. But between Scott and Easley, they are the 2 quickest guards, certainly in the Philadelphia Catholic League and possibly in the entire state of Pennsylvania. Lansdale Catholic on the other side, they have a pretty quick guard themselves in Sanaya Littlejohn. She may take offense to me calling Easley and Scott the 2 quickest guards. She is terrific. She has a terrific future at the next level, standing at 5'10". But then Grace McDonough provides some size that Neumann-Goretti does not have at 6'2". She's been there for a couple of years now, and I think that's the key. Is it pace for Lansdale Catholic, trying to play in the half court, and then be able to get the ball inside, which I think will provide some difficulty for an undersized Neumann-Goretti team.
Yeah, I think the key to the game is how Neumann-Goretti performs in the half court. We know that they're going to be able to run up and down, but how does Coach Lonergan and Lansdale Catholic kind of pull them back into a half-court game? And then if they do, how well are they going to shoot from out? I mean, because Grace McDonough, I mean, she is just a glass cleaner, is what Dick Vitale used to call somebody who works well on the inside there.
Neumann-Goretti, they had the goal preseason of going 3 for 3, and actually won't have the opportunity to do that, Bruce, uniquely enough. 3 for 3 being Philadelphia Catholic League championship, as well as a district title and then a state title. They lost the district title to Audenried and then had the opportunity to play that same Audenried team in the state tournament, beat them, and are now at the point where they're ready to be welcomed to the Giant Center floor and trying to go 2 for 3. And I think it is Meatloaf that said 2 out of 3 ain't too bad. I think they would take that here tonight as the lights dim. And Bruce, I know you've been here throughout the entirety of the weekend. This opportunity for the young women to be showcased and introduced in a college-level setting is really unique.
Yeah, I think it is. And, one of the things, too, that I'm keeping an eye on, too, really Goretti and Lansdale Catholic haven't been challenged too much in their last 2 outings. here in the tournament, where they've had opportunity to really kind of relax during the game. If this game is tight, I'm really interested to see which team is going to play loose and play relaxed and play instinctive basketball, because I think typically that is the recipe for success. And Coach Lonergan, when I was talking to him before the game, he said those are some of the things that he looks at too with his team when they're out on the floor. Are they relaxed? Are they just playing, like they always have played?
Stay with us, too, at halftime. We will have a special guest. We expect none other than the 10-time state champion himself, Carl Arregale, from Neumann-Goretti boys' side, to join us. He and his assistants stayed back here and made sure to support their girls' team looking for a state championship themselves. Not many schools have the opportunity to win a state championship, Bruce. Even less can win two in the span of less than 24 hours. Neumann-Goretti has that chance here today.
Yeah, I mean, kind of on the likes of like Archbishop Wood. I think what comes to mind, the last team that had both a boys and a girls going for a state title. Obviously, yesterday Linville Hill did, and which is pretty rarefied air for a school and athletic program.
It sure is. So this is the opportunity of a lifetime here for these young girls. Neumann-Goretti won a state title last in 2022. Prior to that, they had won 4 straight state championships from 2015 to 2018. Andrea Peterson is a terrific head coach and was the 2015 Naismith Coach of the Year nationally. She can do it at a high level. She did it as a player, and now she is coaching at a level that not many have been able to replicate. She has the opportunity to win 2 out of 3 titles this year, Catholic League title and state title.
Yeah, she sure had her game face on. We were coming off the court just a few minutes ago, and she was coming on, and she was all business, wasn't she?
She sure was. And now we'll meet Lansdale Catholic. Allie Esposito, a sophomore, small forward at 6 foot. Sanaya Littlejohn, the senior point guard, at 5'10". Nadia Yamola, she was a big piece, along with Littlejohn, of that state championship program 2 years ago. And Grace McDonough introduced next, 6'2". She has been a terrific addition to this program 2 years ago and has been a difficult cover in the Philadelphia Catholic League and beyond. Aubrey Mobley is the junior, 5'6" shooting guard. She is introduced last, and as we mentioned, Tom Lonergan, longtime girls basketball coach throughout Philadelphia, Central Bucks East. He coached there. Bishop McDevitt, most recently Gwynedd Mercy Academy, and now Lansdale Catholic, taking over for the terrific and the state champion Eric Gidney, who retired 2 years ago from coaching. Now we'll meet the Saints of Neumann-Goretti. Chrisette King provides serious size. She's 6 foot. Chrisette King is just a freshman, will continue to evolve, but has been a big part of things for Neumann-Goretti this year. Regina Baker, a sophomore, terrific left-handed player. She can get to the basket at will. Offers from Fairfield, Delaware State Temple, Delaware, and Mount St. Mary's as just a sophomore.
Yeah, first team All-PCL.
Kamora Berry, they call her Mo Berry. She gets a ton of shots off per game. She had an opportunity, and has an opportunity, to continue her run towards 1,000 points, a great scorer. Amaya Scott and Corinne Easley, the backcourt for Neumann-Goretti, playing at a level that is hard to replicate. The Catholic League has not seen a backcourt like this. 2 diminutive guards, Bruce, that can get to the basket and seemingly at will, and have driven the success for this program this year. Now they rise here at the Giant Center. We will play the national anthem. In fact, this one will be performed live. Always a nice treat at the state championships.
Sung today by senior from Halifax Area High School, Miss Lily Crum. Ladies and gentlemen, we present with pride and much gratitude our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, ready to go. Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment here, Bob, Bob Schellenberg is the public address announcer here and has been for state championships for many, many years. It's great to see Bob. What a fixture he is to the PIAA championships, not only basketball, but he's also renowned for football and the Big 33. So you'll be hearing the dulcet tones of Bob Schellenberg in our background.
You could even say that you say that with much gratitude.
With much gratitude. That is exactly right. Great man, Bob Schellenberg.
Happy to see him here today and this weekend.
Yes.
It is a who's who here at the Giant Center. I just saw the District 12 Chairman Mike Hawkins walk in. Certainly we saw
With chest out.
I would say.
Beaming with pride.
6 of his teams in the contest today alone. Steve Haig is here from the Archdiocese of Philadelphia as well. He will be a halftime guest. We already talked about Pat Sorrentino and Carl Arregale, the coaches for Neumann-Goretti on the boys' side. It's a who's who to watch a big-time matchup. The first regular season game between these two clubs was won by Neumann-Goretti 58-54. Do we have another roller coaster affair like that ahead of us here today? Tom Lonergan, Andrea Peterson, 2 of the great coaches in Pennsylvania, 2 of the great programs in Pennsylvania, all going to settle things in the next 32 minutes. Tip won by Lansdale Catholic. Here's Sanaya Littlejohn. Up to the right side block, steps through on a Euro step, got her own rebound and puts it in for 2. 2-0 Lansdale Catholic early on.
And you talked about the first score being, so close and in the 50s. And I think for Lansdale Catholic to stay close in this game, that it's got to be, a point total in the 50s.
It's a 2-3 zone for Lansdale Catholic, dressed in black, Neumann-Goretti in white. Good pass inside to Chrisette King. Lost it on the way up. Brought down there by number 24, Aubrey Mobley. Mobley will take it across the timeline and resettle in between the circles. Here's Littlejohn. She's defended by Amaya Scott. Now switching on to her is number 24, Kamora Berry. Top of the key, Mobley. And they'll settle in, and this is what we expected from Lansdale Catholic, to play more of a half-court offense to Neumann-Goretti's run and gun. On the right wing, they'll check it back to Littlejohn. Spinning into a double team, and she's blocked. That's last touch by Littlejohn, and it's going the other way. The block for Kamora Berry for Neumann-Goretti.
And I'm already looking at this Chrisette King, Grace McDonough matchup in the post. I mean, that's going to be something to marvel at today. I think those young women are going to be battling it out.
6:44 to play first quarter. 2-0 Lansdale Catholic. Neumann-Goretti goes from right to left on the offensive side of the ball against that 2-3 zone. Easily gave it up. Here's Amaya Scott. Scott with the left-handed dribble across the lane, up and in. She got all the way to that weak side block, Bruce, and put it up for 2.
Yeah, and that's something that I think Coach Lonergan's got to figure out is where is he going to bring the help on Scott and Easley, because they're going to need it.
Flashing to the top of the key is Grace McDonough. She does have skill, can pass well out of the post. Littlejohn now goes inverted, gets her back to the basket, puts it up. There's McDonough with the offensive rebound and kisses it off the glass for 2.
Great hustle coming all the way from the free throw line to grab that rebound and put it back for 2.
Saw Littlejohn there go with her back to the basket again, kind of Villanova style with Jalen Brunson, Colin Gillespie going inverted. Not thinking that Scott or Easley want to guard in the post. She has a height advantage. Inside goes Neumann-Goretti. All in one motion, a little alley-oop from Easley to number 22, Regina Baker.
Yeah, picture perfect on that back cut and wide open for the layup. You want to take easy shots to start.
Well, and again, against that zone, when that three in the back starts to creep up, you can find people open baseline, and Neumann-Goretti did that with the cut to the hoop by Baker. Now Sanaya Littlejohn kicks it to the wing. Cutting in there is McDonough, double team, so looks opposite. An open wing three. That one's good for Lansdale Catholic, and it's really good offense. Ali Esposito cashes it in.
That was a great job by McDonough. With the double team, when she brought the double team there, she kept her head up, found the open player out on the perimeter for the open three.
And quickly down the floor the other way, Neumann-Goretti got into the lane, and it will be number 22, Regina Baker, the sophomore, to shoot two. She was fouled in the act of shooting, cutting to the strong side block. Misses the first. Baker, ideally a point guard, is what we were told. But again, they have two of them already, Scott and
That's a good
Corinne
problem
Easley.
to have.
And so she is a terrific slasher to the basket as well. She'll guard the opposition's best and most athletic player. Plays in the post, can shoot the three and get to the basket. That time she makes 1 of 2 from the line. It's 7-5. Lansdale Catholic, 4:58 to go first quarter. Littlejohn, good pivot foot, puts it up, and it was halfway down. She was hit in the act of shooting. She'll shoot 2, but that was nearly the old-fashioned three-point play. Once again, it's Littlejohn, the point guard, getting in the post.
Yeah, and uncharacteristically, really pressing the action on there. They quickly found out that they had the numbers. She got to the lane and draws the foul.
Lansdale Catholic, the 3 seed in District 12. So Littlejohn misses the first. Maybe this ended up working out for them, though, because they're the 3 seed in District 12. They got shipped out west. We saw the same thing with Roman Catholic, which we'll see later tonight. And while Neumann-Goretti had to go through Wyatt Missing, who had knocked them out the last 2 years, and Auden Reed again, Lansdale Catholic has cruised, and every win has been by big-time margins in this state tournament. McDonough got a block on Regina Baker at the strong side block. Littlejohn had made 1 of 2 on the other end. 8-5 Lansdale Catholic, 4:44 to go. A baseline out of bounds for Neumann-Goretti. Berry couldn't hit that one. It was a wing 3 right off the inbound. Rebound comes down to Lansdale Catholic and into the safe arms of Sanaya Littlejohn.
Yeah, and again, Lansdale Catholic's ability to cut off any second chance points, I think, is a key to this game.
And you see how quickly they want to get it to Sanaya Littlejohn as well. She has it now at the top of the key. Neumann-Goretti craves those turnovers, but that's not happening right now. It's offensive rebounding, counted and one for Sanaya Littlejohn. Drove to the weak side block, put it up, and for the second time today, got her own rebound, hit in the act of shooting, and she'll shoot 1 more.
Yeah, in all-in-one motion, too, which was really spectacular. And now, let's see if she can nail this free throw.
10-5 Lansdale Catholic, 4:21 to go first quarter. And she does complete the old-fashioned three-point play, nothing but net. Here's Corinne Easley. She'll walk it up the floor. Question was, would Lansdale Catholic ever go 94 feet? Of course, still a lot to be determined, but they're happy to settle into a half-court 2-3. Here's Scott with it on the left wing. Scott will get it back after playing catch with Easley. Couldn't hit it off the back iron. McDonough got the rebound, one and done again. Give and go, they gave it away. This is where Neumann-Goretti is dangerous. Amaya Scott, one-on-one against McDonough, shields well with the body and puts it off the glass with the left hand.
Yeah, that Lansdale Catholic has just got to guard against that fast break. They've done such a good job early on.
Terrific offense for Lansdale Catholic, leads to a corner 3. Littlejohn threw it up the floor. It was a great catch inside by Kaltenbacher, flipped it to the wing, and an open 3 was hit. Lansdale Catholic leads 14-7, and it is a media timeout here from the Giants Center. Under 4 minutes to go. Tell you what, though, we're just here because of these two schools, and specifically want to thank B.J. Hogan and the Lansdale Catholic community for sponsoring this broadcast. If your girl or boy of high school age is looking to further their academic and athletic endeavors, take a look at Lansdale Catholic in Montgomery County for more. We appreciate their sponsorship of today's broadcast.
We can see Coach Lonergan for Lansdale Catholic there, talking to his girls. And, when I had an opportunity to walk in with the team, they looked very relaxed. No, outward, type of nervousness or pressure on any one of the girls' faces. And I think that has a lot to do with the leadership there. Coach Lonergan, such a veteran coach. And I think that that's just permeating this team right now.
Sanaya Littlejohn lead scorers with 6 points on the day for Lansdale Catholic. Out of the timeout, Neumann-Goretti will start with the basketball. They'll walk it 94 feet up the floor. Corinne Easley has it now, and now a 1-3-1 half-court zone trap to start things.
I said one of the keys to this game was how well Neumann-Goretti was going to operate in the half court. And
Corinne Easley with a three. It bounced 3 times on the rim, came down to Grace McDonough. Littlejohn without numbers across the Giant Center logo. A quick skip pass. McDonough in the post. A great entry pass and an easy lay-in for Grace McDonough. 16-7, Lansdale Catholic, 3:05 to play.
Well, you can see that experience on how she was able to maneuver the defender away from the ball. She shielded the pass, turned around, and put it right in.
Do your work ahead of time as a big, and she certainly did that. Now Mo Berry has the basketball. That 1-3-1. The Claws are getting up high. They're now settling back into a 2-3, so making things difficult on a possession-by-possession basis, forcing Neumann-Goretti to make a call. Bunch of passes around the three-point line. Easily now double-teamed, and she'll find Scott. Scott, another lob to the baseline. Zion Costin, the super sub. Started last year for Neumann-Goretti, Bruce, but has accepted a role as a sixth man. And again, for the second time, that zone gets beaten on the baseline. Sanaya Littlejohn to the basket and missed off the window. Neumann-Goretti the other way.
Yeah, and Goretti here running.
Kick out. Berry. That one didn't draw any iron, and here comes Lansdale Catholic the other way. McDonough, so good, running the floor, sets up inside, gets the feed on the baseline. They'll kick it to the wing and reset with Littlejohn at the top of the key, who thought about the three. We're under 2 minutes to go. Lansdale Catholic leads 16-9. McDonough again to the strong side block. She was nudged. Zion Costin is called for the personal foul. It was a turnaround jumper, Bruce, and that's been a point of emphasis across high school basketball. You have to give the shooter space to land. Costin went laterally into the body of McDonough, and she'll shoot 2.
Yeah, and Coach Lonergan with a really nice play design there, with just a two-lady team, or two-lady passing on the one side, clearing out the other 3 players to the opposite side to create some good spacing. That led to an easy entry pass, and she'll go to the line.
After a timeout here at the Giant Center, so that first stoppage under 4 minutes to go was a team-called timeout, and unlike the college game, that doesn't extend or count for the media timeout. We're going to get all those in here today, and so the media timeout comes at 1 minute, 52 seconds to play. Let's start to think a little bit about the games coming up later today, Bruce. It's a Catholic League coronation here today, with West Catholic playing at 2 o'clock on the boys' side, and then at 6 o'clock, Archbishop Wood girls will play against a South Fayette team that, Bruce, you broadcast the game 2 years ago when Archbishop Wood beat Maddie Weber, Ava LaRue, and that South Fayette team that was so talented. We'll see that rematch here tonight.
Yeah, and we will. It's 1-2, and I got a chance to see Archbishop Wood a little bit earlier in the tournament against Bethlehem Catholic, and they just look like a juggernaut once again. Every aspect of the game just performing at such a high level, so that South Fayette Wood game is going to be really interesting to see.
Out of the timeout, Grace McDonough will shoot 2 at the line.
Boy, it got quiet here all of a sudden.
It is a good little crowd here today. It's tough to get out here 12 o'clock on a Saturday on the nicest day of the year, weather-wise to this point.
Well, see, I think that having the 12 o'clock game at least allows you to have some day afterwards. Maybe go hit a chalk world afterwards, with a 12 o'clock game.
Boy, I thought you were about to say go hit a bucket of balls, and I would have been right on the money with you there. Corinne Easley on the blow-by, got to the baseline, now pirouettes her way. Back to the three-point line. Easley got 2 feet in the lane. Good find for Regina Baker. Double team there, and Lansdale Catholic induces the steal. Here comes Sanaya Littlejohn, one-on-one. Contact, count it, and one. And for the third time today, she's going to shoot a third. She'll go to the line, and it's 19-9. Lansdale Catholic over Neumann-Goretti. Bruce, the Crusaders running excellent fast break transition offense.
Well, I was trying to figure out which team was Lansdale Catholic and which team was Neumann-Goretti, because
point.
Goretti has been stuck in that half-court offense, and Lansdale Catholic is the one picking up the pace.
Remember, the regular season contest was 58-54. Neumann-Goretti went back and forth throughout the game, and Lansdale Catholic realized the ways that they could defend Neumann-Goretti. Neumann-Goretti would tear them apart at times in the man-to-man or when they went full court. It's exactly what Neumann wants to do. But forcing them into a half court like this, it's going to be a nice finish there by Amaya Scott. She took the feed on the left wing from Corinne Easley and knifed to the hole, a good floater in the lane. But make her do that to you 10 or 15 times over the next 24 minutes here. Make them beat you that way versus turnovers and transition looks.
Yeah, and I think, making Neumann-Goretti play on defense a bit too, that gets kind of out of their flow. I mean, they really want to move fast, and, Lansdale Catholic controlling the pace of the game so far.
Turnaround Jay in the lane for Ali Esposito. Drove into the lane with the left hand, came to a jump stop, and turned around over the left shoulder with a right-handed finish. 22-11, Lansdale Catholic, 30 seconds left. Scott, she's got 2 straight buckets. Again, knifing with the left-handed dribble into the lane and off the window.
Well, only hope to contain her, and has been really effective. She's the only player for Goretti who's been effective in shooting in the half court.
14 seconds left. Lansdale Catholic thought about a 3. We'll pull this one back. Yamola had it in her hands, and now it's Littlejohn. Sanaya Littlejohn on the right-handed dribble. Comes to a jump stop at the elbow. Yamola's 3 will hit the iron and no good. Saved inbounds with still a second left, and they won't get a shot up. So through 1 quarter of play, Lansdale Catholic scores 22 points. It's been an offensive explosion, but it's been under control the entire time, Bruce. Getting good looks in the half court, playing off 2 feet, spinning and looking opposite when Neumann-Goretti comes with the double team.
And I think that Coach Lonergan has to be enormously satisfied with his team's performance in that first quarter. They've done everything I think that he's asked them to do. They've played solid defense. They've run really good half-court offense. And when the opportunity has presented itself, they've done well in the up-tempo game. And on the flip side, Coach Peterson, she's got to figure out a little bit how she can attack this half-court defense, half-court zone defense of Lansdale Catholic a little bit more effectively than just off the dribble.
This game is the PIAA 4A Girls Championship game. You're listening to it on Bob Long Sports. This is an audio-only broadcast per PIAA policy, and we are thrilled to be here to showcase the Philadelphia Catholic League and these young boys and girls across Pennsylvania. It's high-level basketball. We're thrilled that you can be with us, and you can just plug and play. You might be at the beach even today. I know one of our listeners, one of the assistant coaches from Neumann-Goretti, is hanging at the beach listening to us here today. So why do you even need video at that point? We're glad you can join us for the way that we are able and permitted to bring it to you. Make sure that you like today's broadcast on YouTube. Follow the channel. We broadcast games all throughout Philadelphia, and as you'll see here today, across the state. So make sure to follow Bob Long Sports on everywhere you social media. Like the video. It certainly helps us out. And subscribe. So they'll break the first quarter huddle, and Bruce, a takeaway from the first 8 minutes.
Yeah, I think advantage Lansdale Catholic. I think that the game tempo and their ability to impose their will on Neumann-Goretti was just top-notch. And for Coach Peterson, I'm sure that she was brainstorming how she can get her half-court offense going or somehow get the fast break moving. Oh, and right away, a turnover out of bounds.
Amaya Scott's doing the right thing, though. She's getting off the bounce to her left hand, getting paint touches. The last 2 times she scored, that time she got a paint touch, throw it out to Corinne Easley, who tried to one-hand catch it, and it found its way to the Lansdale Catholic bench. Now Littlejohn's across the timeline, just inside the three-point arc, and she gives it up. Esposito gave it up and out to the baseline, Ollie Kaltenbacher. Dribble drive into the lane, contact, and a travel.
Oh, my.
Travel came first. 2 feet in the lane once again for Sanaya Littlejohn. The feet did kind of slip there. There was also contact. Put it up on the rim. It deadened and went down, but the travel will send it the other way. Back into the 2-3 zone. And Lansdale Catholic gets a steal. Grace McDonough got her hand in the passing lane. 3-on-2. Littlejohn for McDonough. Contact in the act of shooting. She will shoot 2, and Littlejohn just baited. Made that defender commit Bruce. A nice bounce pass to the block, and no choice for Neumann-Goretti but to foul Grace McDonough.
And how impressive was that play for Grace McDonough? She has the steal on the defensive end and then running the floor to get underneath the basket to be fouled and get to the line.
And makes the first. She has 6 points on the afternoon. No real foul trouble to speak of at this point. 3 Neumann-Goretti Saints on the floor with 1 foul apiece. McDonough has the 1 personal foul, and McDonough goes 2 for 2 from the line.
For the Crusaders, 24, Aubrey Mobley.
1-3-1 zone as Scott knifes her way into the lane off the front rim on the floor. Get it to the drop. Sanaya Littlejohn across the timeline, guarded by Corinne Easley. Easley carves into the lane, off 2 feet, too high off the glass. Pulls it away and is fouled. Beg your pardon, Neumann-Goretti is fouled. Mo Berry taken down on the play by Sanaya Littlejohn. That's Littlejohn's first and team's first in the second quarter. 24-13, Neumann-Goretti trails Lansdale Catholic, 6:50 to go.
Yeah, and I think that was an important defensive stretch there for Goretti. Lansdale Catholic has been shooting the ball extremely well early on here.
1-3-1 again. They get the ball to the baseline. Berry now back to Easley up top. They go back to Berry. That's how you have to beat the 1-3-1 zone, but she didn't hit any iron. Kaltenbacher traveled with it.
Oh, my.
The only thing about that, if you're Lansdale Catholic, you can live with, quote unquote, is it's not a live ball turnover. That's where Neumann-Goretti can get you. But you have to get that ball to Sanaya Littlejohn. You can see that they have had that in full effort and effect. Neumann-Goretti will turn over almost anybody they play against, but Littlejohn is one of the best ball handlers in the state of Pennsylvania.
And I know that obviously the objective is to penetrate here, but I think Goretti's got to start making some shots from beyond the arc to loosen that defense up a little bit.
Corinne Easley really has not been successful off the bounce getting into the lane. They're packing in a 2-3 zone as Lansdale Catholic. Double comes up top against Easley. Now she carves her way into the lane. Kick out, open 3 for Scott. It doesn't hit. It was a little long off the back of the iron, and Littlejohn will call timeout after the initial rebound by Kaltenbacher. And Tom Lonergan did not want that timeout. It does not appear.
No, they were kind of looking a little disbelief as to why they called the timeout. Obviously, they're enormously valuable, but still, in all, I mean, the worst that's happened. All right, yeah, they burned a timeout, but up 24-13 here, just under 6 minutes to go on until halftime. And Lansdale Catholic just looks in total control of this game, and both offensively and defensively. Goretti still trying to get their confidence, not only on the defensive end, but trying to find the combination that's going to penetrate that 2-3 Lansdale Catholic zone.
Lansdale Catholic, traditionally middle of the road, I think is a fair way to describe it. Program in the Philadelphia Catholic League, which, again, statewide is quite impressive, but it's a challenging league, as that is a long pass knocked out of bounds off of Neumann-Goretti. Pass went begging. A nice job there by Aubrey Mobley to throw it off Anaya Solis Morgan. But to finish that point, 6-7 years ago, Eric Gidney was brought on as the head coach of Lansdale Catholic. And in that short period of time, he brought them to 2 state titles, one of which they won. They won an elusive Philadelphia Catholic League title, which was really impressive. Last touched again on the inbound play by Neumann-Goretti, knocked out of bounds, and a little slow to get up is Neumann-Goretti's number 22, Regina Baker. But to finish that story, Eric Gidney, basically when he was on top of the mountain, elected to retire. He's a young guy, but spends some time with family. Life gets in the way, Bruce. I mean, we know how challenging that is, and all we're doing is broadcasting the games. These coaches are putting a lot more time into it than we are. And so B.J. Hogan, the athletic director for Lansdale Catholic, had a really difficult hire. I mean, who are you going to bring in to replace Eric Gidney? And Tom Lonergan, right place, right time, if you will. He was let go. It was some confusing circumstances at Gwynedd Mercy Academy. Was very, very successful there for more than a decade. And their decision to let him go under whatever circumstances those were led for Lansdale Catholic to bring in one of the most accomplished coaches in the history of girls basketball with over 800 wins. And so, heck of a job by B.J. Hogan. Also a pretty good opening and a coach to be able to find in a short period of time after a legend retires.
Yeah, I mean, he has obviously just fit right in with Lansdale Catholic in the, the culture. And he has such a great demeanor, I think, for a coach, which is so important. A team is going to reflect the personality of their coach, and you can see that out there right now. But as we went to the timeout, Goretti started to put on some half-court trap pressure to try and up the tempo here to get Lansdale Catholic a little bit more uncomfortable. And I think that's what they've got to do, that Goretti defense.
Colton Bacher gives it up. That three was just a little bit short off the hands of Ali Esposito. Now Easley leads the way, goes one-on-one. Good defense by 2 Crusaders, including McDonough. Colton Bacher was in there as well. Pulled away from behind as Sanaya Littlejohn took it down the floor. Now a loose ball. Neumann-Goretti on the floor, and a timeout is called by Andrea Peterson. I think for the second time in as many minutes, a coach did not want a timeout called.
No, exactly. I think the player felt that it was required for them to retain possession, but boy, a real scrum on the floor. But again, I think Neumann-Goretti trying to make Lansdale Catholic a little bit more uncomfortable on the offensive end by being a bit more aggressive with their defense. Previously, they'd put on a half-court trap, and I think that that's an important element there for Coach Peterson. She's got to try and up the tempo of this game to match the skill set of her Goretti players.
So out of the timeout, it will be Neumann-Goretti basketball. The timeout would have saved the possession for Neumann-Goretti because the possession arrow was facing Lansdale Catholic's way. But again, Baker had ripped that ball free in time, Bruce, and so Neumann-Goretti would have had possession anyway. Nonetheless, 3 timeouts remain for Neumann-Goretti, 4 for Lansdale Catholic. 5:08 to play. 24-13, Lansdale Catholic leads over the 2 seed out of District 12. Corinne Easley, a 3 from the left wing, puts it in. It's 24-16.
That's the aspect of the game that Goretti has got to start to take advantage of, is some of those shots from behind the arc.
A corner 3 is good for Lansdale Catholic. Neumann-Goretti went into the zone, got the ball to the high post. Grace McDonough, a good kick, and Nadia Yamola puts it in.
Boy, that was just one pass. It was open, and knocking it down like that, just putting enormous pressure on that Goretti defense.
2-3 zone for Lansdale Catholic. Scott goes baseline. What a pass to the corner. That 3 is no good. McDonough got one hand on it. Littlejohn comes up with it in traffic. What a find up the floor. Esposito puts it up wildly. McDonough pulls it down, thought she was hammered. Tom Lonergan can't believe there wasn't a call. Easily across the timeline. Quasi-transition for Neumann-Goretti. Pulled away from her, and then Baker in the act of shooting comes from the floor, tries to put it up. She was blocked on the play, but there was some contact. Let's see if we give her the act of shooting.
Quite the helter-skelter action on both ends here. Lansdale Catholic was down underneath the basket 2 different times. Looked like They were trying to draw the foul, but Goretti back with it on the offensive end.
Yeah, they did not give her the active shooting. Maybe that would have been a little aggressive there. Scott steps through and travels.
Wow.
Came to a jump stop, which is good, then moved off that foot, but then had to take one more step to get it around the longer Lansdale Catholic defender at the top of that 2-3 zone. It's a nice job by the Crusaders defensively thus far as we hit the media timeout at 3:58 to play. Game is brought to you by Lansdale Catholic High School. Thanks to BJ Hogan for sponsoring the broadcast here today. It is a terrific place to go to school. Actually, we're right down the road from Lansdale Catholic. My wife and I, Bruce, know the campus very well. They're doing a lot of really good things over there. Proud member of the Philadelphia Catholic League. Can be tough sledding for a newer member. They're not the newest member of the Catholic League. That belongs to Devon Prep. But they are a newer member from the early portion of the 2000s, and they found a great home. So if you are looking to send your son or daughter to school, maybe live in that Montgomery County area, take a look at Lansdale Catholic High School. Proud program in the Catholic League, a state champion from 2 years ago, and looking to add the second title in 3 years.
And coming out of this timeout, both coaches here, completely opposite messages that are going to their teams. Coach Lonergan just kind of preaching, stick with what has been successful so far. Coach Peterson, I think she's still kind of groping a little bit for how she's going to be able to open things up on the offensive end. That 2-3 zone of Lansdale Catholic has been very effective, and partially due to the fact that Goretti has had a really difficult time in knocking down some perimeter jump shots to try and open that zone up, to extend it out there, to be able to allow some passing, dribble drive opportunities to get to the basket.
How about the balance, too, of Lansdale Catholic? Sanaya Littlejohn with 9 points, Bruce. Ali Esposito has 8 with those couple of triples. Nadia Yamola, she hit the 3 from the baseline. And Grace McDonough has 7 points on the day. 3 of 4 from the foul line. Littlejohn, 3 of 4 from the foul line. Able to get to the line consistently and be effective when you get there. Now full court pressure from the first time from Neumann-Goretti out of the timeout. Lansdale Catholic got it across midcourt without even a dribble. A lot of good passes. Runner in the lane won't go for Sanaya Littlejohn. No numbers for Corinne Easley, but she's across the timeline. Now to the paint. Kick out for Scott. Scott to the lane again. Couldn't get it over the front rim. Tried to go glass.
And again, no second chance opportunities for Goretti.
Into the half court goes Sanaya Littlejohn. Yamola at the top of the key, guarded by Mo Berry. McDonough now in the high post, looking to find Colton Bacher, couldn't find her. She still has the basketball, does. McDonough pulls it back to the logo. Yamola now flies to the top of the key. She has the basketball on a right-handed dribble, and Littlejohn will reset. 3:06 to go second quarter, 27-16 Lansdale Catholic. Off the high ball screen, there's the slip by McDonough. What a catch inside. Puts it up in one motion, couldn't go, and it'll stay with Lansdale Catholic. Corinne Easley was inside, tried to take some contact there. Bruce, I think, went down easy, was trying to draw the charge. This officiating crew has done a nice job thus far.
Yeah, they surely have. And doing a nice job as Lansdale Catholic. I mean, they're not dribbling the basketball. They're moving it strictly by passing. And over the top with McDonough has been very effective, but another travel inside.
A travel, absolutely. The officials here today, Kevin Reese, Arthur Gilliam, and Michelle Wilmore. What an assignment to get. To be officiating in late March, you got to be doing something right, and these are some great officials here today. Recognize the name Kevin Reese, by the way. Done a lot of big games in his day. That's a wing 3 that won't go for Berry. And a held ball situation. The alternate possession will point Lansdale Catholic's way. So a little closer to an offensive rebound, but still, Bruce, no second chances for the Saints.
Absolutely, and that comes down to the fact that Goretti has not been effective in their shooting beyond the arc.
Full court pressure from Neumann-Goretti. Littlejohn is there. Now they will put it on the deck, get it to McDonough. Across the timeline they go, and she turned it over. 2-on-2. Giving it up for Easley. Easley is fouled.
And that easily could have been maybe an intentional foul. I think that's what the two officials are talking about there.
They are discussing it. I'd love to see that be a common foul, but I can understand either direction. And they are calling it flagrant one. The intentional foul, the crossed arms go up. She did kind of grab and hang on to make sure that Easley didn't get that above the rim. By the letter of the law, perhaps that's the call, but I didn't see it particularly egregiously, and I think that's one that at times you can let go.
Well, and I like the fact that the officials conferred. It wasn't just one official. Went over and got an opinion from one of one of the other officials, and obviously they were in agreement that it was an intentional flagrant one foul there.
One of two with the empty lane there for Corinne Easley, and now Neumann-Goretti will get the basketball again.
Boy, just remember that moment. I mean, that's 2:20 to go in the half. Now it's a 10-point advantage for Lansdale, but Goretti with the ball again, being able to get this down to single digits. They haven't been under 10 in a while.
Well, I think a big part of that is what does happen next on this possession. If they knock down a triple, yes, you start to feel very differently about that possession and its place in the fabric of the game. Now they'll run a weave at the top of the key, and Lansdale Catholic isn't moving against that weave. They're in a 2-3 zone. They don't need to move that way.
They really don't.
Neumann-Goretti's got to get a paint touch. Good skip pass. Wing three was halfway down. It wouldn't go, and McDonough brings it down. That was Mo Berry. Deflection. Neumann-Goretti comes up with it in transition. Amaya Scott stepping through well and travels. There was contact, but I think pretty consistently we saw a call on the other end just like that, where a travel was called before contact. Neumann-Goretti able to induce a couple of steals here recently, but you got to find a way to be more diligent and value the basketball offensively.
Yeah, they just need to take a breath. I mean, but see, that's where Lansdale Catholic, in their ability to control the tempo, they're kind of creating a sense of urgency in Goretti that they really don't need.
Again, full court pressure from Neumann-Goretti. This time Lansdale Catholic beats it well, opens up a corner three for Yamola off the front iron. Didn't get good lift on that shot, and now with 1:30 to go, easily brings it across the timeline. Thought about stepping into a three and then kicks it wide. Against this 2-3, they work it around the perimeter. Here's Amaya Scott, got just inside the three-point line, kicked it back for Baker. Baker has it now and will reset with Corinne Easley. Does Neumann-Goretti start to peel some time off the clock? This would be a long time to hold it. They won't hold it for long. A hoist from three is good. And Mo Berry, she's so good from beyond the arc, cuts it to 7.
Yeah, and that's what Goretti's got to do. I mean, Lansdale Catholic is truly not even respecting the long-range shot.
Step just inside the three-point line, it won't go. And a rebound comes down to Corinne Easley. 51 seconds to go. Kick out. Scott for three. From the corner, it's good. Easley to Scott, that's a good 1-2 punch. And just like that, it's a 7-0 run for Neumann-Goretti.
And it was off the intentional foul.
Littlejohn, 2 feet in the lane. Good pass. Gets it back at the top of the key. Inside she goes for Grace McDonough, but it's an offensive foul. She blew through the defender, Amaya Scott. And Sanaya Littlejohn, with 28 seconds left, has picked up her second personal foul here in the contest.
Just an incredible turn of events off that intentional foul. It's been all Goretti here. They've woken up from behind the arc. They've been able to take advantage of a couple of miscues on offense by Lansdale Catholic.
I'm still going to go, is that correlation or is that causation there? I mean, they didn't even score after that possession, after the intentional foul. I think it's the decision to go full court pressure, which has sped up Lansdale Catholic, led to some turnovers, and now Neumann-Goretti's feeling a little more confident. Down to 10 seconds. A kick out for Scott. Replacing in the corner is Easley for three. No good. Rebound for Lansdale Catholic. They have time. Down to 2. Down to 1. Will they get it off? Good if it goes. It hit the iron and won't go for Ali Kaltenbacher. So it is halftime here at the Giant Center. 27-23, Lansdale Catholic leads. Looking for our friend Carl Arrigal, who's down there. And Bruce, maybe I'll have you be a runner for us. Would you mind grabbing Carl?
I will do. I'll find Carl and we'll get him up here.
Fantastic. In the meantime, chance to tell you once again that this contest is brought to you by Lansdale Catholic High School and the athletic director, B.J. Hogan, who made this possible. Appreciate him and his sponsorship of Bob Long Sports. If it's your first time to the page, thank you and welcome. Make sure to like the page and the video here and subscribe to the channel. We broadcast games normally on video. This is audio only due to PIAA policy for the state finals, and we're thrilled to be here in this capacity. Carl Aragale looks like he sees us, and he'll be coming up to join us here momentarily. Bruce Badgley is my color commentator for game number 1. We'll also bring our good friend Matt Paul on for the last 3 contests of the day, and then we will also have Josh Verlin make his broadcasting debut for the Archbishop Wood girls game. So excited to have those folks alongside us here today. Again, the next game is West Catholic against South Allegheny. And then after that game is finished, 6 o'clock, Archbishop Wood's going to play South Fayette. And then at night, Father Judge, Roman Catholic, the final game of high school basketball here in 2025. We're excited for all 4 of these games here tonight on Bob Long Sports. And we made this guy walk a little bit to get up here. Carl Aragale is with us. It's not often that I can tell a 10-time state champ to come to me, so sorry about that, but we're glad to have you up here. Carl Aragale, coach of the Neumann-Goretti boys team. How are you, Coach?
Pretty good, Bob. I'm doing all right. Running on a little fumes. We had a late night last night, but our girls were terrific last night. They were here, support us, so I just felt it was the right thing to wake up, hop in my car, and get down there and support them.
A quick thought on the first 16 minutes. What have you seen out there? I know you can never really take the coaching hat off.
Yeah, well, we're turning it over too much. We're usually better with the ball. I think their zone slowing us down a little bit. It's good to see Kimura make one of the threes. She's really the zone buster for them. I think they need to get the game going a little bit, and the risk they run with that is Elsie's got a good point guard, and they got some guys that can shoot. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting back and forth. I think the way we finished, though, is, it'd be good for the second half.
We're talking to the head coach of Neumann-Goretti boys basketball team, Carl Aragale, with us, winner of a 10th state championship in the program's history and your coaching history. Walk us through last night. I mean, what a night it was. It's been a couple of years since you've won one of these things. What was the atmosphere and what was the experience like for your guys?
Oh, it was an amazing atmosphere. I mean, I guess we wore white. We were supposedly the home team, but we weren't the home team, that's for sure. This place was full of orange, and our orange, we haven't been orange since my first couple of years when we were at Newman. So,
all right, what's the story there? I don't think I know that one. What do you mean orange? Were the school colors for Neumann-Goretti different?
Well, when we were St. John Newman, when we were all-boys school, we were orange and black. Yeah,
that's right.
And I started there, but the orange was all Hershey last night. They had a heck of a crowd. They had a great following. It was the first time they were ever here, and we traveled light, but we had a good thing. And that's what I mean. Our girls really gave us support and our families and stuff, and we needed every bit of support. And I mean, it was thousands to hundreds.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys made the right adjustments at half. Hershey was shooting 8 for 12 in the first half from beyond the arc. You guys were able to lock that down. They shot 1 for 10 in the second half. Some of that's law of averages, but what adjustments did you guys make?
Well, I think a lot of it in the first half was our missed assignments, and they were open. You still got to make them, but they were open. I mean, they were wide open, and we panicked a little bit, I thought. We reverted back to some of our old ways when we were playing earlier in the year, and we weren't playing real well, like that second half of that second quarter. And we kind of just needed to get into the locker room and hit the reset button. We had a couple guys with fouls, and I was just trying to get to the locker room. I wanted a little bit better result, but I just wanted to get there, with guys, that had to, just having to, and, and we accomplished that part of it, but we didn't finish it out the way I wanted to, and we just kind of had to get them back on the page that we've been on this last month, and, just tell them, 7 points is nothing. We were down 7 with a minute and change left against Pencrest and won. We got 2 whole quarters, to come back. We just got to do it. No, I don't need anybody going out there thinking they're going to make a 7-point play and it's going to be tie after the first possession. And they made sure to let me know that wasn't going to happen. We threw it away the first 2 plays. I mean, we hit somebody in the stands with one pass, I think, and then, and then the next one wasn't much better. We hit somebody like in the scores table or something. So, and then we calmed down and we had the lead by the end of the third quarter. And then it was just, then it was a balancing act in that fourth quarter with the foul trouble, and we just kind of got through it.
Unique for me, I had the chance to see you guys in person for your very first Philadelphia Catholic League game, and I can tell you, first off, terrific job by you. Shouldn't surprise anybody with your ability and your staff and the kids, quite frankly, that you've had represent that program for so many years, that you just built until playing your best basketball at the end. In particular, I thought Munchie, and those that don't follow Neumann-Goretti boys basketball well, of course I'm talking about Stephon Ashley Wright. Felt that he had one of his better games in his time at Neumann-Goretti, certainly early on, pacing your scoring, under control. What can you say about him and the role he's played?
Well, he was terrific last night. I mean, he was really focused. He's the guy that is either it's not fair maybe to put it on him, but when he's good, we're really good, and when he's bad, and I don't mean bad, I just mean his decision-making. When his decision-making is bad,
sure,
we're bad, because then they kind of follow him. It's kind of weird in that way. I mean, Deshaun's kind of our silent leader, but he's the alpha, Munchie, and he came out with the high beams on, and then he was Munchie, though. He picked up 2 dumb fouls, and then he was on the bench, and then the whole thing flipped around. We went from looking like we were going to run him out of the gym to hanging on and just trying to get to the locker room in one piece and see if we can figure it out, And then he was terrific, in the second half. But then next thing you know, he had 4 fouls. And then Deshaun, who never really gets in foul trouble, had 4 fouls. And then we're trying to piece it together, and we throw some guys out there and go to a zone to try to protect some people. And next thing you know, the lead grows from 2 to like 8 with the subs in there. And I'm like, all right, we got you guys at this point. I threw them back in there, so now you got to bring it home, And those 2 guys, I trust them with the ball late, and they're both good foul shooters. They're both good ball handlers, and, they kind of help bring it home.
Stephon Ashley Wright, half-brother, by the way, of Rob Wright, who's playing at Baylor right now, had a nice NCAA tournament. Actually got interviewed, Carl, post-game, and I didn't know I was going to see you. I'm curious your thoughts on this one. He was asked, hey, I know you played big games like this at Monteverde Academy, and I'm sitting there screaming at my TV saying, big games at Monteverde Academy. This young man was a Neumann-Goretti Saint and played some of the biggest games in his career there while a member of the Saints. What are your thoughts on him and what he's been able to do at the next level? And you can extend that to all of your graduates that are playing or have recently played at the next level.
Yeah, I was proud. I mean, I obviously watch him still, and, I root for him. And he's on the record saying, like, the biggest game he ever played in was the Catholic Championship, though, by the way. I mean, that team he was on in Monteverde was tremendous, and they could have probably made the NCAA tournament and been still playing maybe right now. Yeah, he had a really good year, and he's got a bright future. And I was also proud. Chris Ings was also in the tournament at Norfolk, and he had a great end to his career, and he made all-league, and he did a really good job. We got a bunch of guys that are still bouncing around playing, and they're all in touch. I got a lot of messages from them last night and today, and and that's the fun part about it, is that we've tried to kind of build a family, and it's been a lot of guys, and they're all the years intersect somewhat, and they all talk, and they all are proud of it. And when we can accomplish something like we did last night, because they all felt it when we weren't playing well. I mean, everybody feels it. That was part of it. And when we weren't playing well early, and people were knocking us and saying we were done and it was over and stuff. And so it was a great, feel of redemption for all of them, everybody that's ever played.
Good for you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here, Carl. Great to see you as always. 10-time state champ, even more in the Catholic League. Carl Arregale, our halftime guest. Enjoy this one with Pat down there, and
second
good luck.
Second half turnaround starting right now.
Yes, sir. Always a coach. Appreciate you, buddy. Thanks a lot to Carl Arregale, and right back to action here to start the third quarter. That's how we do it here. Don't have a ton of breaks, so we're going to bring you content the whole way. Quick three from the wing. No good from Corinne Easley. Pulled down, though. They're going to get a turnover quickly from Lansdale Catholic. Kicking out to Mo Berry. She can knock that down, and she does. That's a second three in just a span of a few minutes. She has 3 on the day. A 1-point game as Mo Berry puts it in.
Boy, how quickly the complexion of this game has changed.
From one half to another, we're in the midst of a 10-0 run for Neumann-Goretti. Lansdale Catholic with the basketball, dressed in black to Neumann-Goretti's white. And Lansdale Catholic goes from right to left as we see it. They'll reset, nearly get another steal. Sanaya Littlejohn has it in her hand, defended by Amaya Scott.
And the defense at Goretti is really trying to make Lansdale Catholic feel uncomfortable on the offensive end, really pressing out high.
A bit of a matchup here. And now they settle into man. Deflected. Here comes Costin with the basketball. Up the floors, Regina Baker, and Neumann-Goretti has the lead. Up and off the window with the left hand. Another turnover by Lansdale Catholic leads to a transition look, and that has been the difference at this point. Now timeout called. Tom Lonergan, 32nd. They're going to extend that to a full timeout with 6:31 to play in the third quarter. A 5-0 run in 90 seconds for Neumann-Goretti to take the first lead in a long time.
And Lansdale Catholic just cannot seem to get back into their rhythm on offense. And that has in large part been because Neumann-Goretti is starting to pick up much more aggressively in the half court. And it's made the spacing very difficult for shots. Lansdale Catholic trying to work for the good shot, still being patient, but the turnovers really, they're a big nemesis right now.
Very evenly matched game, and I would say that the stats bear that out. Lansdale Catholic shooting at 39% on the day. Neumann-Goretti at 41%. Lansdale Catholic 3 of 6 from beyond the arc. Neumann-Goretti, they've gotten their shots up, and we've talked to Andrea Peterson over the year. Mo Berry, she'll shoot sometimes up to 20 threes a game. That's right, 2-0. Wow. They're at 15 right now. They've hit 4 of them. Lansdale Catholic has gotten to the line on 8 occasions. They've hit 6 free throws. Neumann-Goretti 2 of 4 from the line. Here's the big one, though, Bruce, and you talked about being one and done. 20 rebounds for Lansdale Catholic to Neumann-Goretti's 8, including 5-0 in the Crusaders' favor on the offensive glass.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about as far as Goretti's ability to, knock down some of those perimeter shots, and that's reflected in the stats. Their Goretti's inability to knock down some of those perimeter shots.
This is the first lead change of the game. Neumann-Goretti's first lead of the afternoon. McDonough flashes to the strong side block and turns around over the left shoulder. A right-handed finish in the lane.
Yeah, and I think McDonough is going to try and take over this game a little bit more now.
Lansdale Catholic into the 2-3 zone. A wing 3. That one won't go. One and done as McDonough pulls it down on the miss from Mo Berry. Now potentially numbers for Lansdale Catholic, but they'll pull this one back. Esposito threw it to Littlejohn. Littlejohn's pass inside was deflected and then intercepted, intended for Kaltenbacher. Scott now on the wing. Took some contact and a late whistle. The initial foul probably occurred, Bruce, as she was taking that first dribble inside the three-point line. Didn't come then, and then that's actually going to help Neumann-Goretti because she went up into a shooting motion and was hit a second time. She'll shoot 2 at the line.
She's done a good job actually penetrating all game long. 11 points so far, and I think she's just got to do, or Goretti's got to do a better job in trying to get some of the other players involved more.
Amaya Scott, they call her, and Corinne Easley the yin-yang twins. They've been best friends, Bruce, since they were young. They did everything together, and they decided at a young age that they were going to play basketball in high school together, both from the Philadelphia area, played basketball now at Neumann-Goretti. Thought of as a walking bucket is Amaya Scott.
Well, I guess the difficult part there, Scott's kind of headed off to Dell State to play and Easley to Fordham at the next level.
That will be the end of that. but I'm sure they will be in touch all the time. Lansdale Catholic turned it over right across the timeline. Scott had hit both foul shots, so it's yet another lead change for Neumann-Goretti. Audrey Mobley checks into the contest for Lansdale Catholic. She'll settle into the top 2 of that 2-3 zone near the top of the key. Baker, that's a tough shot in the lane. McDonough brings it down. What a day for her on the glass. Here's Mobley with the basketball across the Giant Center logo. Steps into a 3. It's well short. Kept in bounds, but here comes Amaya Scott. Sometimes that's as bad as a turnover when Neumann-Goretti can get out in transition. Everything but the finish that time for Scott. Kept in bounds. Easley was hit from behind, and it'll stay here. Last touch by Corinne Easley. Poked away by Lansdale Catholic.
Yeah, both of these teams looking a little bit out of control right now. Goretti with the ball underneath the basket. I look for them to maybe try and settle it down a little bit more on offense.
Well, Sanaya Littlejohn checks out of the game. She doesn't do that very often. This is an important minute. No doubt Tom Lonergan expecting to get a media timeout shortly after 4 minutes, so kind of extend this break for her. But this is danger time because Lansdale Catholic is going to struggle, you would think, without her on the floor as the primary ball handler against that ravenous defense of Neumann-Goretti. This time Mobley turns it over. Regina Baker got up into her grill, extends that elbow out, does Mobley, and it's an offensive foul as a result. Andrea Peterson talking to Regina Baker on the way down because Baker loudly and emphatically clapped in the face of Mobley. It wasn't called, but I think that's Peterson saying, heck of a defensive effort. Let's leave it in between the whistles.
Yeah, I think we saw 2 examples there of kind of players losing their cool a little bit. The offensive foul called, and then Goretti reacting to it.
Goretti basketball, 2-3 zone again for Lansdale Catholic. They'll whip it around the top of the key. Scott in the lane, off 2 feet, couldn't get it over the front rim. Guess who? McDonough with the carom. Yamola could not handle the pass from Sanaya Littlejohn, who had checked right back into the game. See that, Bruce? 1 stoppage that Littlejohn was off the floor. That was it.
Well, each time that Lansdale Catholic has tried to up-tempo and fast break it, they've either turned the ball over or gotten an offensive foul. They need to get back into that, good half-court structure to their offense.
4:06 to play. Third quarter action here on Bob Long Sports, audio-only broadcast. For the PIAA 4A Girls Championship, a corner 3 won't go. Yeah, I'm not sure what that foul is. That's going to go against Lansdale Catholic. There was not much there, not much contact. Ali Esposito is thinking, who? Me?
Say what? I mean, that's okay. I mean, they got to shake it off because they got to play defense under their basket. I mean, short-term memory loss here for Lansdale Catholic. They got a timeout. I'm not sure.
It's immediate timeout. First stoppage under 4 minutes. But that was called on the defensive rebound attempt. I certainly recognize that Esposito wasn't in position, but I did not see a push off either, Bruce.
Well, it's going to give both coaches opportunity here to re-emphasize, at least on Goretti's part, the positives that they've shown really over about, the split between the end of the first half and the first 4 minutes here of the second half. They've done well in forcing turnovers. They've done a great job on the offensive end. And Lansdale Catholic on the flip side, I think Coach Lonergan's got to get his team back into that much more deliberate style of play once they get the rebounds, because Lansdale Catholic has continued to control the boards. They just haven't been able to take advantage by cashing in on the offensive end.
Bruce Badgley, Bob Long here for the PIAA State Championships from the Giant Center. Great perch high atop the Giant Center. Excited to be here and certainly excited to see 2 Philadelphia Catholic League teams that mixed it up once already in the regular season do it here on the state's biggest stage. You've been here many, many years, Bruce, for a lot of these state championship games. How does this weekend compare, and anything unique you've seen this time around?
Well, the unique thing was last night. I mean, I think the entire town of Hershey just about turned out for the Hershey Trojans. Now, they went down to defeat last night, but I'll tell you what, that was great. I mean, the only other thing you can think about was that rivals at was that like when Reading High sold the Giant Center out for its team with Lonnie Walker when they beat Pine Richland for the state championship a few years ago with my buddy Rick Perez, who I spent most of the postseason with. But the overriding memory so far, I think, was Hershey basically playing a home game for a state championship.
It'll be Neumann-Goretti basketball out of this timeout. Bench warning against Neumann-Goretti. Hard to imagine what that would be for, I would say.
Maybe somebody getting up off of the bench.
That
I don't
could
know.
be, because that call certainly went their way on the other half of the timeout. So they'll whip it around the top of the key here. Haven't gotten a touch inside the three-point line as Neumann-Goretti. They're in white. They're moving from left to right. Regina Baker now off to Corinne. They call her Clutch Easley. Mo Berry back for Easley. Easley thought about the three, dives into the lane, and a foul is called against Lansdale Catholic. Nearly a double dribble there at the same time.
Yeah, she got fouled in that dribble penetration there. You know, Goretti's still doing a good job of trying to penetrate that 2-3 zone, but I think they're going to have to continue to try and beat it from outside. It seems to be pretty tight on the inside, and McDonough right in the paint there is just tough to deal with.
One and done again as Easley's three goes, two goes begging. Another bad pass. Amaya Scott races and couldn't hit it. McDonough this time brings it down again. That was point blank. She should have hit that, should Scott have. And now Lansdale Catholic well served to pull it down and get into the half court.
Yeah, I thought Coach Lonergan was just basically up and saying, hey, slow it down.
All the way to the basket, contact, count it, and one. Just hitting the go switch, hesitation dribble, and then explode to the basket for Sanaya Littlejohn. She puts it off the window with the right hand and is fouled on her left side.
Yeah, defender fell asleep a little bit. Littlejohn, recognizing that, got right to the basket, and literally the Red Sea parted for her to get to the hoop.
Littlejohn ticks it off the front rim and down through the nylon. Another lead change. Lansdale Catholic leads by 2. Largest lead for the Crusaders was 11, and that was late in the first half.
Now, both of these teams just have to do a better job of valuing the basketball now. A lot of turnovers in this game.
Easily, nearly another interception there. Littlejohn got a hand on it. They'll reset. Mo Berry now on the right wing. Another hand on the basketball in the passing lane by Littlejohn. She's been great at the top of that 2-3 zone. 2:20 to go, third quarter. 32-30 Lansdale Catholic. Neumann-Goretti whips it around the key, and now Easley will slow things down. She's up near the Giants Center logo. Nobody follows her, though, from that 2-3 zone, unwilling to extend it out as Lansdale Catholic. Berry now from the wing. She loves that spot, but could not get the shot up. They'll continue to work it. This time Berry plays catch with Scott. Scott bumped well there by Yamola defensively. Baker up and under, no good. Terrific defense there on the help side by Grace McDonough. Another rebound for Lansdale Catholic. Littlejohn inside. Contact, count it, and one. A blocking foul as Neumann-Goretti. Zion Costin could not get in legal guarding position.
I'll tell you what, that was really close on the block charge there, but Littlejohn kind of taking control of this game, getting to the basket.
What happened there is Zion Costin, I still don't think you need 2 feet on the ground before you go into that jumping motion. 2 feet on the ground facing the defender. I don't think she ever got there. And secondarily, Bruce, Costin started falling back to kind of induce that contact before Littlejohn ever got to her. So now Littlejohn puts 3 on the board there the old-fashioned way. It's 35-30 Lansdale Catholic. 1:27 to go, third quarter.
And again, Goretti having a little difficulty in this half court.
Hershey did the same thing against the Neumann-Goretti boys, went zone, and Neumann-Goretti boys, they eventually figured that out, but it took them a little bit while. And Carl Argale told us about that in his halftime interview. Amaya Scott spins to get to that left shoulder. Now a running shot in the lane is good for Regina Baker, so skilled.
Big shot there as we run down here, under a minute in the third quarter.
Just a sophomore, Regina Baker. Now McDonough inside. She got it to go. They wanted contact as well, but pass out of the high post, cut off the ball and do that work ahead of time, Bruce. It's a thing of beauty from Grace McDonough.
It really is. And Lansdale Catholic, I mean, stepping up the tempo.
A long three for Easley, maybe a little bit of a hoist. It came up short, and Zion Costin with the foul on the offensive rebound attempt with 34 and a half seconds to play, third quarter.
Neither team in the bonus yet, so this 5-point advantage, Lansdale Catholic all of a sudden now trying to extend here.
That is the fourth personal foul too, Bruce, against Zion Costin, so she will take a seat. Remember, she picked up the personal foul on that block charge call that you referenced less than a minute of gameplay ago. So came into this third quarter late in the action with just 2 personal fouls. Now sits entering that third quarter break with 4. A 5-second call.
I just didn't see that at all. I mean,
she's getting downhill, Bruce. She's getting from the logo towards the 3-point line. They are calling that the way it's supposed to be called. I've talked to a lot of my official friends on this, and what I've determined with them is you got to call it the way you want. My issue is not with the officials. It's with that call. That's brutal. Interception with 10 seconds to go. Yamola gets it across the timeline. Colton Bach. Little John for 3 at the horn. That one didn't draw any iron. So there still will be 2 seconds left as that hit the baseline. But Neumann-Goretti will have to go the full length of the floor. A quick substitution to go offense, defense. I like that decision there. Get Little John off the floor with those 2 personal fouls and a quicker, extended break, we'll say. And just inbounding at the baseline. They won't even attempt a shot. We head to the fourth quarter. Lansdale Catholic leads Neumann-Goretti 37-32. We know we will get a Philadelphia Catholic League champion to be a state champion here this afternoon. Just don't know who it will be. The first matchup came down. It was a 4-point game, Bruce. This is 5 points going into the fourth quarter.
What a great run by Lansdale Catholic to exit the third quarter. I mean, an 8-2 run there to take the lead, but doing it uncharacteristically for Lansdale Catholic, and that's playing up tempo. But again, it was all set up by their ability to control the boards, and that hasn't changed at all in this game. Lansdale Catholic has just ruled the boards. Neumann-Goretti, I don't recall any second chance points for the Saints this game. But, boy, Coach Tom Lonergan's got to feel good about going into this fourth quarter if his team can, move it on the up-tempo side. I still have a problem with both teams valuing the basketball. We've had a lot of turnovers in this game so far.
Well, and I think that's where you turn to Neumann-Goretti. They've trailed before. They had tight games in the Catholic League semifinals and final. And what happened at the end of those games, Bruce? There's a reason they call her clutch. Corinne Easley, the MVP of the Philadelphia Catholic League, stepped up huge in those games down the stretch. And it may not matter that right now she's 1 of 8 from the field, 1 of 6 from beyond the arc, 4 points in the game, and 4 rebounds. She is most times and most days the best player on the floor. And whether she's able to bring that in this next 8 minutes is going to go a long way in determining who wins the game.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you probably went up to somebody from Neumann-Goretti and told you that you were going to be only down 5 points with Corinne only having 4 points so far, I mean, she averages 14 points per game. So, I agree with you, Bob. I think if there's somebody who could be the breakout player for Goretti to get them, back in this game, It is going to be Corinne Easley.
And it is double-double time for Grace McDonough through 3 quarters of play. 11 points, 10 rebounds for her. 2 of the offensive variety. Efficient as well. 4 for 6, 3 for 4 from the line. Sanaya Littlejohn gets it to McDonough out of the high post. Littlejohn gets it back. Neumann-Goretti in this matchup-looking zone here as they are switching. McDonough top of the key. Looking for Yamola. Yamola turned it over, gave it away. Here comes Amaya Scott, puts it in. Those cross-court passes have been big issues for Lansdale Catholic. Yamola was looking for Littlejohn. It never got there, Bruce.
Just what I was saying a moment ago. Both teams really have to do a better job valuing the basketball. And then Catholic turns all to McDonough.
And it's going to be over the back for Sanaya Littlejohn. It was an elbow 3 for Grace McDonough. Littlejohn crashed the boards but went over top of the defender in legal position, and that is her 3rd personal foul. I don't think anything to worry about exactly this instant, but Bruce, she has to start thinking a little bit more carefully because you pick up that 4th foul. I mean, she is the key for Lansdale Catholic. It's McDonough on the defensive glass, is cleaning that glass, but it's Littlejohn who's been the best at not turning the ball over against the pressure defense for Neumann-Goretti. The Crusaders need both of them on the floor.
Yeah, and I think Christine King on the inside there has got to get a little bit more active.
For Neumann-Goretti, yes.
For Neumann-Goretti.
Chrisette King there.
Chrisette King.
There was 2 whistles on the play. One was Amaya Scott throwing the ball out of bounds. The other was, did Neumann-Goretti get a timeout? And they did. So that's the 3rd time this contest where timeouts were called. That would have been out of bounds on Neumann-Goretti as we see a replay on the big board, trying to throw it off the foot of Grace McDonough, but that didn't happen. So that is an important timeout there for Neumann-Goretti, but they do have just, I think it's 2 now remaining.
Yeah,
I don't think that, down to 2 on that big board with 6 minutes and 50 seconds to play. Bear that in mind, we're a long way from that, Bruce, but at the high school level, baskets made inside 1 minute to go. The clock does not stop the way it will at the college level or even the professional level. And so you start to think about that here down the stretch. Neumann-Goretti wants to take a lead well before the final minute. But if you find yourself down multiple possessions in the last minute, it's important to have timeouts remaining in that back pocket.
Yeah, certainly. And I think, a couple players, I mentioned Chrisette King. Now with McDonough having, 3 fouls there, or excuse me, 3. Does she have? No, I'm sorry. Grace only has 1 foul.
Grace has 1. It's Sanaya Littlejohn that's in the foul trouble with 3.
Yeah, but I think Chrisette King has got to do a better job down in the post, just in occupying McDonough to bring her down toward the basket to open things up a little bit more for some easier shots for Goretti. They're just having a difficult time finding an easy shot from that Lansdale Catholic zone.
The other thing you start to think about on the Neumann-Goretti side is, can you start to shoot it a little bit better from beyond the arc? They haven't been particularly proficient from beyond the arc here today, shooting it at just 20%. But you think about someone like Mo Berry, who will go 2 for 12 in the first half in a Catholic League quarterfinal against Conwell-Egan, come out in the 3rd quarter and hit all 6 that she takes in that quarter. So they can heat up like a microwave. Amaya Scott got into the lane, shuffled the pivot foot, and traveled. A turnover by Neumann-Goretti.
Yeah, and that was a direct result of basically Grace McDonough being right in her face.
Lansdale Catholic with an offensive rebound on the other end. Sanaya Littlejohn on the 3. Kick out to an open set shooter. The best 3-point shot there is.
Back up to that 6-point margin now for Lansdale. Settling back in that zone. They are really trying to make Goretti beat him from out.
Corinne Easley, a wing 3 won't go. Good check out in there by number 23 for Lansdale Catholic, and now a foul coming the other way. Mobley taken down. But Ollie Kaltenbacher the sophomore 5'10". That's a great defensive rebound. We've talked a lot about Grace McDonough. That's position A on the defensive glass.
This game has really come down to Goretti's inability to drop into three and Lansdale Catholic ability to clean up the boards from the missed shots, giving them many more possessions.
McDonough now gives it off to Sanaya Littlejohn at the logo, guarded by Amaya Scott. That 5-second clock is going. Littlejohn gets into the lane and is fouled by Scott. It was in the act of a pass, was looking for Ali Esposito beyond the three-point line, but we're stopped at 5:49 to play. 40-34, Lansdale Catholic leads.
This is important. I mean, Littlejohn, she's been able to knock down these perimeter shots. She's bringing the defender out, and when the defender's coming on her tight, she's taking them to the basket.
Kaltenbacher inside for Grace McDonough. Couldn't get it over the front rim. Loves to get to that left shoulder with the right-handed floater. Now easily down the floor. Nobody stopped the ball. Kick out for Berry. Hit on the shot. It hit the back iron. She hit the deck. Fouled on the play, and 3 shots coming up for Mo Berry.
Boy, inopportune time for that foul beyond the arc.
We last talked to Neumann-Goretti leading into the state, beg your pardon, the Catholic League quarterfinals. So that's over a month ago. But at that point, Mo Berry had hit 76 threes in 22 games of action. Has not particularly been sharp here tonight. A chance to get some confidence back at the line, but the first one goes long.
Boy, each possession now so magnified as we run down toward this state championship.
Kamora Berry has taken 9 three-point attempts. She's hit 2 of them. This is her first time to the line here today. Berry hits the third, 2 of 3 from the line, 40-36. Lansdale Catholic leads over Neumann-Goretti. Full court pressure. McDonough gets it in the center of the floor, has to get it across the timeline, jumps to pass. A one-handed snag by Sanaya Littlejohn, maintains possession.
That Goretti press has been tough, but somehow Catholic has managed to get through.
Lansdale Catholic gets it in a great spot. Grace McDonough couldn't hit it. Offensive rebound by Kaltenbacher. Through the lane, puts it up, and fouled on the play was Sanaya Littlejohn. Started with a great drive to the hoop by Mobley. McDonough got a bunny, couldn't hit it. But then Lansdale Catholic, Bruce, just hits the glass, kicks out to the open three-point shooter. A head fake gets Littlejohn into the lane, and she's fouled in the act.
Yeah, just hate to keep, ad nauseum talking about the control of the boards by Lansdale Catholic, but that's what's keeping them up in front of this game.
And how about 6 of 7 from the charity stripe for Sanaya Littlejohn? She leads all scorers with 19 points. And Littlejohn hits both. 42-36. Good Lansdale Catholic student section is as loud as it's been all afternoon. Scott got to the elbow, kicks for Easley. Baseline pass, counted and one. Regina Baker camping out on the weak side block. Great find by Clutch Easley. One more shot coming for Baker.
And Lansdale Catholic put a little 1-3-1 half-court trap in there, and quickly Goretti diagnoses it for the layup and the chance for the old-fashioned three-point play here to draw closer. 42-38 right now, Lansdale.
Well, how do you beat the 1-3-1 zone, Bruce? Where is the natural gap? Get the ball to the corners. That's what they did. They got it to Easley with a head fake, got the defender off her feet. Drew a second defender on the dribble drive, and there was Baker. She hit the foul shot, and McDonough gave it away at half court. Here comes Amaya Scott. Three-point game, off the iron, offensive rebound, and it was blocked. Blocked there by Lansdale Catholic, and Mobley is fouled. How about Ali Esposito running the floor, getting back into the play, and taking it off the hands of Regina Baker?
Just a great job there, but boy, Lansdale Catholic, they just have to take their time. Take a breath. as you
right.
attack this defense, as you attack the press. They're just trying to get through it too fast, and it's causing some ill-advised passes.
Well, they're doing the right thing procedurally. They're getting the ball to McDonough. She is a good passer. Get it to the center of the floor and look opposite. But Neumann-Goretti is so quick. A ball fake does you a ton of good, Bruce. One ball fake gets the Neumann-Goretti defender over-aggressive, and that'll open up more space. Inside, into the lane, we got a blocking foul called. Sanaya Littlejohn again gets to the hoop, unabashed in her dribble drive, put it up on the rim, was hit in the act, and it clanged off the rim. 2 shots coming with 4:25 to play in the fourth quarter. Lansdale Catholic with a 42-39 lead over their Philadelphia Catholic League rival.
She just decided to take control of it herself. She just had the ball at midcourt. She had the opportunity and flashed to the basket and misses that first free throw, though.
She was 7 for 8 from the foul line coming into this trip to the line. Bonus time the rest of the way for Lansdale Catholic. That will certainly be of note. We'll see a lot of foul shots, I would assume, in this next 4 minutes and 25 seconds. 1 of 2 at the line for Sanaya Littlejohn. And again, Tom Lonergan, over 800 wins. He knows how to do this. Media timeout coming in 25 seconds, or shall I say the next stoppage after 25 seconds from now. Get her just a little bit more of an extended break there, Bruce.
Well, and I think she's got 4 fouls, too, so.
Littlejohn has 4?
I thought so.
I had her with 3 at one point. We'll see when she comes back into the game. Scott, good kick. Easley for 3. It's good. Corinne Easley knocks it down. And a bad pass there by Lansdale Catholic. They tried to throw it halfway up the floor to Yamola, and that's a low percentage pass against any team. And then you bring the length and athleticism of Neumann-Goretti. That's a challenge there.
Yeah, that's just Lansdale Catholic Achilles heel so far has been with some of these passes in the midcourt.
If they do lose this game, they will look back at the turnovers as a big part of the reason why. Long way to go, though. 3:55 to go, 1-point lead for Lansdale Catholic. Neumann-Goretti has only led by 1 point, and it's happened on 2 occasions. They'll work it around this 2-3 zone. 3 girls getting a touch. Scott, Baker, Easley. Now a kick out. Easley thought about the 3. Scott, back for Easley. Same spot for 3. He banks it home. Corinne Easley with the bank, and it's the largest lead. Timeout called. Andrea Peterson was imploring the official for a timeout before that ball was inbounded, and they do get the timeout. 3:28 to go.
Incredible job here by Goretti in, not only the steals leading the points, but also really kind of taking that Lansdale Catholic defense and kind of thumbing their nose at it by working the ball effectively, some extra passes around the perimeter, and then knocking down the 3.
Lansdale Catholic is not even huddling. This is a full timeout. Neumann-Goretti is sitting. This is an odd sight here, Bruce, as Lansdale Catholic keeping their substitutes on the bench. Their starters are on the floor, just kind of standing around, and only now will you get into that more traditional full timeout huddle where the players will sit on the bench that were on the floor and the subs will come out about them. That's interesting there because I still see 2 timeouts remaining for Neumann-Goretti. I certainly don't think they should get the benefit of the timeout when they needed to, even if it was an inadvertent whistle. I don't think it was. So I believe
maybe it's the media timeout.
No, but it wasn't a stoppage. It wasn't a natural stoppage. The only reason it was a stoppage is because Andrea Peterson, the head coach for Neumann-Goretti, was running up and down the floor begging for a timeout. There it is. And now on the big board, they correct it to 1 timeout remaining.
Wow.
So that is certainly of note. 3:32, long way to go with just the 1 timeout remaining. They'll get a media timeout at the next stoppage as well.
Well, if you're Coach Peterson there, you've got to like what you see as far as her team, and they're really moving the ball much quicker around the perimeter to be able to set up those 3-point shots, and Goretti's been able to knock down the last 2 of them.
What a day of action here. What a way to get us started. This has been a terrific basketball game. Lansdale Catholic has done what they do best. handle the basketball when it's in Sinai Littlejohn's hands, control the boards, but they have turned the ball over too much when it has not been in Littlejohn's hands. Neumann-Goretti, they do what they do best. Slash to the basket, get the tempo to their speed, and get the opposing offense uncomfortable with the on-ball pressure. And it's led to us a point where it's a 2-point game. Kaltenbacher nearly gave it up. She should be able to dribble the basketball. Timeout called by Tom Lonergan before a pretty clear hook there by Kaltenbacher, and that's a good timeout. So now we're going to get timeouts, I can tell you this now, Bruce, on 3 consecutive possessions and 3 consecutive stoppages, because the next one will be our media timeout.
I'll tell you what, the Goretti defense has really stepped up the intensity on Lansdale Catholic. I mean, all the way out, almost to the half-court line, everything is being contested. Passes, the players are just getting right into the Lansdale Catholic, their face almost. And that is really creating some displeasure, and Lansdale Catholic really uncomfortable in the offensive end right now.
They will inbound right in front of their own bench on the other side of half court. McDonough is guarded by Zion Costin. Can be a difficult place to get the ball in, but McDonough flashes to a good spot beyond the three-point arc. Easley guards Littlejohn. Littlejohn taken away from her from behind by Easley as she got into the lane. Easley pulls this one back, and Neumann-Goretti's in a rare position where they can start to bleed some clock.
And they should. I think that, I mean, Lansdale Catholic and Coach Lonergan is trying to stay in that zone but kind of get some pressure extended out to the ball. But I would agree with Coach Peterson. You don't want to play against that zone.
Zion Costin over the top. She was hammered in the act of throwing a pass. Just the 4th team foul against Lansdale Catholic. Next, we'll put the Saints into the bonus. But that was brilliant there, Bruce. You're exactly right. The 2-3 zone, they haven't come out of it all night. Now they have to, because with no shot clock, they have to induce something. Neumann-Goretti with the lead. As soon as that defender came from the baseline, Kaltenbacher, Zion Costin flashed to that strong side block, and a good find over the top led to the foul. Timeout on the floor, 2:34 to play. Neumann-Goretti 45, Lansdale Catholic 43. When you talk about Corinne Easley, who's starting to have a bigger presence here in this 4th quarter, we mentioned how she only had the 1 field goal going into the 4th quarter. Well, now she has 2 triples in this 4th quarter alone. She won the state title as a freshman. She wanted to get that feeling back. She's been talking about it all year, and she is a young woman that's been playing great basketball. Andrea Peterson called herself a, quote, proud mama when Corinne was announced as the MVP of the Philadelphia Catholic League. She felt like she left no doubt, did Easley. 33 points in a game against Archbishop Woods stamped the flag for her candidacy as the MVP of the Philadelphia Catholic League. High leadership qualities, high IQ, great in live game situations, and can pick the defense apart. I think we've seen all of that here in this 4th quarter. And if I can add one more thing, Easley, as well as this entire Neumann-Goretti roster, gives back to their community as well. And it's great to see these young women engaged in that way. Every Thanksgiving, the program goes down into Philadelphia to feed the homeless. They all give back a ton to their community when they can, recognizing the opportunity that they have to go to a school like Neumann-Goretti and go to school in the Philadelphia Catholic League, and that is to be commended.
Well, most every championship team has a transcendent player leading him to a title, and Corinne Easley is certainly that leader for Neumann-Goretti.
Out of the timeout, 2:32 to go. Neumann-Goretti basketball moving from left to right, dressed in white. Lansdale Catholic in the black. Easley now holds the ball at the logo. They're going to force Lansdale Catholic to come out and guard and try to back cut their way to a layup. Let's see if they can do it.
That's what was great about the timeout. It's really both coaches had an opportunity.
Ooh, stepping on the sideline, though. It's going to be Lansdale Catholic basketball. It's a terrific call. I think it was Kevin Reese on that call. The ball was inside, most of the body was inside from O'Berry, but as she was holding herself up, the left arm reached out and hit the white paint on the sideline. Lansdale Catholic ball. Go ahead, Bruce.
No, I mean, I think both coaches had an opportunity to really diagram about with their teams what they expect to see by both clubs.
Inside they go. McDonough, great patience inside. Let the flyby on the hall on the head fake and puts it off the glass and in. 45 apiece. 1:52 to go. And now we can take this whole holding the ball stuff out of the equation, I would hope, here in a tie basketball game. Regina Baker with a handoff. Here's Amaya Scott. Or does Neumann-Goretti hold for one? Right now they're content to just weave at the top of the key. Amaya Scott gets a foot inside the three-point line. Spinning for Mo Berry and recoiling to Corinne Easley. Scott has it now. Lansdale Catholic in that 2-3 zone. Nobody comes above the three-point line. Berry with the basketball now. Little John took a chance and now goes back into that 2-3 zone. Scott has it on the left wing, and they'll settle with 70 seconds to play.
Amazing how entire seasons come down to only 1 minute of basketball.
1 minute to go. We are tied at 45. Who's going to take the big shot for Neumann-Goretti? Clutch Easley with the basketball. There is Sion Costin. She missed the layup. Stays in bounds. Kept in, and Little John has it. It was a great play. Costin was right where she needed to be. Just a little bit of a deflection or a really impact of that shot, rather, by Grace McDonough, and she continues to make an effort defensively. A timeout with 44 seconds left by Lansdale Catholic. Ball in hand.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it's really hard to determine, who is going to take the last shot or how Tom Lonergan is going to design his play, because Grace McDonough has done a great job inside, but also Sanaya Littlejohn, a fantastic job from beyond the arc and slashing to the basket. So there's a lot of things that Andrea Peterson has to talk to her team about and emphasize here. So it's not just one trick pony here for Lansdale Catholic. There's multiple options available, but the question is A, how long are they going to hold the ball before they take a shot, and B, who's going to take it?
We talked about him at the beginning of the game. Coolest guy in show business right now is Mike Hawkins, District 12 chairman. You know why? He's not worried about who wins this contest. He's going to be handing out a first place and a second place trophy to 2 District 12 clubs here today. Now let's put you in that huddle, Bruce. 44.5 seconds left. Sideline out of bounds, inbounding for Lansdale Catholic. Do you try to hold for one shot against the action-packed pressure defense of Neumann-Goretti that has coerced so many steals? I know I'm leading the witness here.
Yeah, no, but I think that I think you do try and take the final shot, but you don't pass up a very good shot. And I would expect to see that on the offensive end that we'll see McDonough at the high post.
Well, I'll say this. The passes have to be crisp.
Yeah.
One-handers are for ice cream cones and not passes in the last minute of a state championship game. I can tell you that.
But they're spreading them out like they are going to hold for the last shot.
Mobley guarded by Scott. Mobley nearly gave it up. Mobley did give it up. Scott has it. Up ahead of the defense. Puts it in. 22 seconds left. Clock still runs. Ball kicked around a little bit, and this is taking some time off the clock. Here's another giveaway. Regina Baker stepped in front of Grace McDonough, and Lansdale Catholic has to foul. 10.8 seconds left, and Neumann-Goretti's defense again steps up. And Bruce, that's why I would not have tried to hold for one. I'm not even sure they were. But Neumann-Goretti ratcheted up the defense. 45 seconds is a long time to hold the ball against this active of a defense.
Well, you said it earlier, Bob. When Lansdale Catholic looks back on this game, the turnovers that they committed ultimately, could be their, demise here. And clearly there are 2 consecutive turnovers. And Goretti now in the driver's seat with 10.8 left.
Regina Baker hit the first. Here's the all-important second free throw. 1 timeout remains for Lansdale Catholic. Baker's second is no good. Do you foul up? 3. 8 seconds to go. Here's Sanaya Littlejohn. Littlejohn has it poked away, and a timeout is called by Tom Lonergan with 4.8 seconds to go. Let's take you inside the Neumann-Goretti huddle right now. Do you foul up 3 in the bonus, Bruce?
Oh, well, see, I don't know if you want to do that. You want to do it, I guess, on the inbounds. If they get the inbounds in a good position.
Running away from the basket,
absolutely,
right? Yep.
I think so, but that's a tough call, and that is a great hypothetical that you bring up is what do you want to do depending on who gets the ball and where they get it. There's a lot of options, but I think kind of a high pass to McDonough to let her kind of distribute maybe to Littlejohn would be the old Valpo play, or
Well, and I think what you have there is the ability for anybody to cut off a pass to the high post there. And if everybody just leaves McDonough, which I wouldn't be surprised if Neumann-Goretti did, McDonough may have to take the shot herself.
Absolutely, and she's very capable. I mean, but I think something over the top to McDonough to, maybe a Littlejohn setup, come up for a 3 to tie.
Game 1 of 4 here today. It'll come down to this. Sideline out of bounds right in front of the Lansdale Catholic bench. They trail by 3. Final 4.8 seconds of the fourth quarter.
And I think the play is designed for Littlejohn because she's inbounding the ball. She will get the ball back.
Littlejohn will indeed inbound. McDonough is underneath the basket. Now flies to the basketball. They're having trouble getting it in. Now they do. Littlejohn, a great look at the horn. It is short. Put up at the buzzer, no good. Neumann-Goretti comes all the way back. They trailed for the majority of the contest here today, but they're going to go Catholic League Championship, State Championship, all in 1 year, and a state champion for the first time since 2022.
Just an incredible finish by Neumann-Goretti, but that last play there, you saw Littlejohn inbounds the ball, basically send it to the high post, and then she streaks down the side there for that three-pointer, just missed it. That's the old Valpo play that they used to
Bryce Drew.
Yeah, Bryce Drew knocked down. Every team's got that as their last play, and Lansdale Catholic unfortunately not able to drop that down. But what a finish by Goretti. I mean, those 2 turnovers to end the game. And wow, state championship again.
Neumann-Goretti, they had to come back in the fourth quarter of the Catholic League semifinals, of the Catholic League finals. They had to come back and beat Audenried after Audenried had beaten Neumann-Goretti in the District 12 championship, and they had to come back after trailing for almost the entire contest here tonight. They led when it mattered and clutch easily with those 2 triples in the fourth quarter. We said that she was going to be a factor, win or lose for Neumann-Goretti. As she goes, they go. And they're going to go all the way up that ladder, cut that nylon, and bring a trophy back to South Philadelphia for the 6th time in program history.
Well, and Lansdale Catholic and Coach Lonergan, I mean, his first season, bringing this team back to the state championship game. What an effort. And, I talk about this a lot, but my, oh my, sometimes, these championships can be so cruel. You're coming down to the last minute of your entire season. And then, unfortunately, 2 turnovers give the lead over to your opponent, and they win the championship. That is just the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, I mean, you still go back to those words by, the human drama of athletic competition was definitely on display with these 2 girls' teams here this afternoon.
Well, I'll give you another quote that rings true. Never underestimate the heart of a champion. And that's what Corinne Easley has been. Won a championship her freshman year, and then just willed her team to win in the Philadelphia Catholic League final and now in the PIAA state final. Meatloaf said it best, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. They did not get the District 12 championship this year, but they got the 2 that mattered. Philadelphia Catholic League championship at the Palestra, and of course here at the Giant Center. Bruce Badgley, my color commentator. Bruce, a final thought on this one.
I'll tell you what, I have such admiration for both of these teams, Neumann-Goretti in victory and also Lansdale Catholic in defeat. I mean, we're watching on the big screen these young women for Lansdale Catholic remaining poised. I mean, they've got to be heartbroken out there, but to see their poise and their composure, it's just a testament to the school and Coach Lonergan there. But Andrea Peterson, I'll tell you what, she was all business. And you know what? That team out there for Goretti was all business. I mean, they didn't have things go their way for most of this game, but they kept persevering, they kept shooting, and it led to a state championship.
Bruce Badgley is a special person, and I know I'm talking about you in front of you, and I know you're very humble about it, but let's call it what it is. There aren't many people like you, and the way you cover the game and the way you showcase the student athletes. Our friendship is important to me, and I'll tell you what, a weekend of state championship basketball or any sport is more special when you're calling a game, so you're right where you should be, and thanks for everything you do.
Well, thank you, Bob. I tell you what, it's amazing, and you got to love the Giant Center, and you got to love this weekend of basketball here in the state of Pennsylvania.
He's Bruce Badgley. I am Bob Long. We're saying so long for just about 15 minutes, quite frankly, because we'll be back at 2 o'clock for West Catholic taking on South Allegheny. So stay, keep it right here on the channel all day long. Neumann-Goretti, 48. Lansdale Catholic, 45. Just an incredible basketball game to start off the proceedings on the final day of high school basketball in the 2024-2025 season. Congratulations to Andrea Peterson. Congratulations to Corinne Easley, the MVP of the Philadelphia Catholic League. And congratulations to those girls of Neumann-Goretti, the champs, here in 2024-2025.